to garner anything from the words of the wise, the first thing you need to know is that you don't know anything. And you will never unlearn that. There will never become a point where that isn't true, no matter how much you know. Is that compared to the amount of knowledge and wisdom that is available, you are literally, basely ignorant. There's no difference between you and the man dying in the gutter, wrapped in his own sins, with a needle in his arm. You are the same. Neither one of you wiser than the other. You say, well, that's not true from your perspective. That is correct. That is not true from your perspective. However, from the perspective of wisdom itself, and from the perspective of God, essentially, there is no difference between the two of you. Therefore, you can become the wisest man in all of Greece by knowing only this, that you know nothing. So we must all learn that we know nothing. And this humility will allow us to listen, which is the most valuable skill that a wise man has. And you say, well, you don't do a great deal of listening. That is entirely accurate. I do less listening than I should. I do more listening than some others. But I've gotten to be what I am, where I am, by listening. And I have been critiqued by many men who, from my perspective, are far more foolish and more ignorant than myself. And I've learned a great many things from those conversations. My wife corrects me and says, honey, did you realize that by doing that thing you just did, or by doing that thing you're considering doing, you will do X and Y and Z? And I say, oh, I hadn't considered that. My wife also has taught me how to interact with people, which was something that I was ignorant of. And I have become a fairly, not entirely, but a fairly social person because of my wife's instructions. And you say, are you saying that your wife is more ignorant and more foolish than you from your perspective? No, I didn't say that. But I know a great many men don't want to be taught by their wives. And they're somewhat of ashamed to be being taught by their mothers.